Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Bat Châtillon 155-55. It's the Tier 9 French SPG and it's located on the south spawn of Prokhorovka. And it's under the command of Rmojoho. And he's a member of What Arty Noobs and we've seen him before. And this is very likely going to be a two-parter replay, because somebody else has also got a replay from this battle. Now he's moving off from the spawn point, and it looks to me like he's headed off to the west. Okay, he's not going to go very far because he's actually found a bush to fire from. Now the wonderful thing about the Bat Châtillon 155-55 is it's got a turret, which means it's got a very wide field of fire. The vehicle doesn't actually have to move. All you have to do is move the turret to aim at the target, and he's aiming at the midpoint at the moment. You can see the vehicle is actually pointing off to the northwest, but it doesn't matter where the vehicle is pointing. He can realign the turret and shoot at the target. And there's the first target. It's an ELC Evan 90. Very difficult to hit because they move so quickly. Has to aim ahead of it, and that shell lands behind it. Now the thing about those little nippy French light tanks is they are very difficult to catch. But he's moving just a little from his original firing position to avoid counter battery, and a whole host of enemy tanks have been caught going off towards the hill. And he's almost loaded. Gonna go for those heavies. I think he wants the T-57 heavy first. Fires a round in, and he hit the target. There was no explosion, so we definitely got the T-57. Now, at such a range, it is a long distance away from where he is at the moment. You have to take into account the amount of lead needed to actually get there. The flight time for the shell is 1.9 seconds to this particular aim point. As he moves further back, it's got to 2 seconds. So he has to take that into account. He needs to give a 2-second lead between where he's aiming and where the tank is. And he gets a direct hit into the rear of that 58 foots. 250 hit points. We don't know how much damage he did to the T-57 heavy, but he certainly did a lot. But the worry is that ELC Evan 90 is well south, and he might be spotted any second. If he is spotted, he'll have to move quickly. There's two tanks together there. Make sure you hit those. Oh, well, he stunned both of them, but he damaged the T-34 for 170 hit points. And he's moving closer to the west. Now, he does have some protection there in the form of a T-95. In fact, a pair of T-95s and the Wizzy 120. But the problem is that ELC Evan 90 was last seen in the vicinity, so he could be spotted. And if he is spotted, and in fact actually a Progetto's turned up, so even while he's aiming at that T-34 and fires around at it, I'm not sure if he missed, but there's a Progetto very close to him, and thankfully that Progetto's just been killed, but we also lost our Wizzy 120. And he's getting closer to where the ELC was last seen. So he's got that pair of T-95s to protect him, and it appears the enemy is occupying the north side of the hill, but there's nobody up there to spot for him. In fact, actually any spotting is going to come from the centre line, from the E-75 and the IS-7, who are right up at the centre line looking towards the enemy, and they've spotted a T-30 moving towards them, and that would make a very good target because it's a very dangerous tank destroyer and it's full of juicy hit points to extract. Fires a round in. Must have been close to the T-30. Was unspotted at the time, so we won't know until the end exactly how much damage he did. Okay, the enemy's been spotted on the hill again. And they're just behind the tree line. Okay, it's only a few seconds away from shooting. It's got a 2.5 second delay now, 2.4. Round out. Lands just in front of the E-75 and it tracks him, but I think he used his repair kit straight away. Okay, we're going to go for the T-57 Heavy. Now, he has lost some hit points. I think some of those will be down to Rmojoho. Rmojoho. Let's get his name right, because I always got his name wrong before. We've done quite a few replays for him. And he's going to go for the T-34. Round out. Looks right. And a direct hit. 302 hit points. 15 second stun. And he's picking up some stun assist. So it looks like he took some shots from the E-75 or the IS-7. Unfortunately, we've lost all the tanks on the hill. There's no tanks on the hill left up there. We've got a Type 5 Heavy bearing down on us from the north, as well as the ELC M90. It was last seen in this area. But that Type 5 is getting very, very close. Round out. And he gets a splash hit. 225. He might have to start relocating now. Get back towards the to the cap area. Well, he's realigning the vehicle. Yep, he's moving. He's going to get down to the railway line. The trouble is that the enemy is coming down from the hill. Then obviously he's going to be first in line to receive their fire. And we can see one of the enemy on top of the hill right now. We are being squeezed into this half of the map. And we're down by 2 tanks at the moment. It was 3 tanks until a second or so ago when they took out the Type 5 Heavy. And the enemy does have a defender tank, the Object 252U, right up on the centre line there. We can see him. Yep, the special paint job. Now, we did a replay on one of them just recently, and if you do have the chance to get one of them, I would strongly recommend it, because Tiger of Tigers took his defender for a spin and he absolutely monstered the enemy. Okay, can't see the target. There's the LC M19. Oh, no, there was the LC. He's just been taken out by our T-55. But there's that defender again. And I think it's a good idea that Rmojoho has actually decided to move west again, because most of the threat, which was the Type 5 Heavy and the ELC, have been taken out. So he's actually safer now on the west side of the map than he is on the east side. The enemy is coming down off the hill. There's 2 tanks coming down off the hill right now. Both of them are heavies, but both of them have lost quite a lot of hit points. Okay, he's going into the bushes. Well, not fully, which is surprising. And he's turning his vehicle around, and yes, he's aiming for the south. And I think one of those enemies is an IS-7. The other one's a T-34. Now, if so, that's the T-34 he hit before. Can't see them yet. Oh, there's the T-57. He's turned up on the crossing. And Rmojoho can hit him. Fires around it. Yes! Direct hit right on his front plate. You can see the mark appear as the shell landed. Went right into his front plate. That must have hurt. Unfortunately, we just lost our ISU-152. Is the T-34 going to be silly enough to poke his nose over the line? Now, he's searching for which enemy is going to be the first to cross the line. We've got somebody there who can actually spot for us, the T110E4. The moment they appear over the line, he'll spot it. Oh, there's the T-57. He's decided not to come over the line. He's just staying the other side. In fact, actually, he's spotting for his own Arty at this point. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that T110E4 receive an Arty round from the enemy. Unfortunately, at this angle, we can't actually see the damage to the front of that T-57, but the shell actually hit the lower plate. It was an amazing shot. You can see the yellow mark from the HE explosion. And I think that's the fault of the battle assistant, the Wargaming's battle assistant. They really need to change it to the one that was provided by Armored Inspector. because with that one you are always in the standard position. You can actually see the target. You don't see the overhead view. And he's just fired around and got a splash hit on the T-57. It's got a 25-second reload though. That's the only problem with this 155mm. It's moving back into the trees because, of course, that T-57 is going to know that Arty was over here in this direction, and he might look for Rmojoho. And there's a Borsig. He's further north and he's stationary, dialing in. It's a soft skin vehicle. We can do a lot of damage to it. But there is a ship barn, the RFB 4005, and 624 hit points of damage and 724 of stun assist immediately afterwards, and the FE has gone down. That's a really good kill, that. Excellent kill. We've got an Object 263 side on. That's a Soviet tank destroyer, tier 9. We are still way down on the enemy. It's only 6 kills to 10 kills, so we've got a 4 kill difference. So the enemy outnumber us. Round out on the 263 and a direct hit while he was unspotted, so no explosion. We're switching back to the E75. He's managed to get across the railway line, but he's just been killed. So we're down to a 3 tank difference now. There's the T-57 with his mark on his lower plate, and he's side on to us now. And now he's dead. Taken out by our IS-7. There's the Borsig. Okay, he's crept a bit closer. We're waiting for the turret to turn round. Here it comes. Okay, it's on target. Lining him up for a shot. He's crossing the road. He's side on. We can really paddle him. Round out. Direct hit. 672 hit points, and he's killed immediately by the IS-7. So that's a bit of teamwork there. The IS-7's now claimed 2 kills, which have been hit by Rmojoho and shot them directly afterwards. So he's picked up all the stun assist off that one. We're going for the defender. He's got the side of himself exposed. No, he's turned around again. He's got his front to us now, but HE tends to work rather well if you're at the front as well as at the side. Oh, that one hit his roof. I'm pretty sure that hit his roof, but he is still moving forward. He's going after the T-55A, and the enemy is now capping, and that could be a big mistake because if they're going to sit in the cap, we can hit them rapidly. Yep, T-34 has gone down. Defender is making his way up and down that ridgeline, and he's just been killed by the T-95. Oh, we just lost the other T-95 to a Striv 103 that we can't see. But there's still somebody at the railway line apparently. Now that may be where he was. We did get a ping. In fact, there's another ping there from the T-95 who's saying, oh, in fact he's pinging all over the place, which is not very helpful really. We need to know where the enemy is. There's the Striv. So he was right to indicate and ping near the railway crossing, because we can now see him. Is he going into siege mode? Well, he's not in siege mode yet. Now he is. We're waiting for the turret to turn. Oh no, he's moving away. Work out where he's going to go. Round out. And it splashes in front of him and tracks him for 284. The scores are getting better. It's almost even actually now. There's just 1 tank in it. He was definitely trying to retreat across the railway line, I think. That's the thing about those Swedish tanks, is you really need to use it on a ridgeline, so you're only exposing the bare minimum of your tank to the target. Well, that's the 1 minute hooter. Still 4 of the enemy out there, and there's only 3 left on his team, and the T-95 is nearby Rmojoho. T-55 is actually a spotter in the middle. I doubt that we're going to be able to kill all of the tanks. In fact, now considering the clock is at 30 seconds, it's going to be impossible for him to kill all 3 tanks, all 4 enemy tanks. in time remaining. There's the strip. Dialed in, round out. 293 hit points. We lost the T55A, but the T95 hits the strip and he picks up another 386 on stun assist. And the clock's going to run out now. This is definitely going to be a draw. The Striv has been killed by the T95. And that's it. It is a draw. Run out of time. Wasn't enough time to fire more than once. And here's the end of battle result. It's a first mark of excellence for Rmojoho in the Bat Châtillon 155-55. He also picked up an ace tanker for that battle. A bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He managed to get 12. A Gore's medal for doing more damage than 10 times the hit points of his own vehicle. And lastly, a Confederate because he hit more of the enemy than anyone else. At least 6 tanks subsequently taken out by teammates. And you can just see the numbers of tanks that he hit there. He did hit a lot of the enemy team without getting a kill, unfortunately. But let's have a look at the team scores. Well, he didn't get the highest amount of damage. That actually went to the T95 on our team. But the T30 on the enemy team picked up the high caliber because he managed 5,590 hit points overall damage. And if we look at the on our own team, that both of the T95s did very well. In considering even they were staying at the back of the map for most of the time, they still did a huge amount of damage. 4,626 hit points for the one T95, 4,382 for the other one. But Rmojoho managed 4,075 hit points of damage, and that's a huge amount from these three alone. And of course the IS-7, who managed to pick up all of those kills after we'd actually hit and touched the enemy, specifically the FV4005 and the Borsig. He managed 3,417 hit points of damage. So let's have a look at the number of kills. Well, the T95 managed 5 kills, the IS-7 managed 3, the T55 2 kills. On the enemy team, the Bat Chat 155-55 on their team managed 3 kills. And the T30 managed 3 kills as well, but unfortunately it wasn't enough for them. And Rmojoho didn't manage any kills whatsoever, but he still did very, very well during the battle. Because when it came to base XP, he managed the highest base XP score of 735 experience points. The highest on the enemy team was 697 from the T30. So let's have a look at detail report. Well, he fired 17 rounds during that battle. He got 8 direct hits, 8 penetrations and 9 splash. Damage of 4,075 hit points, all at more than 300 meters. He hit 9 of the enemy but didn't get any kills at all, so he hit 3/5 of the enemy team. He also did stun assistance of 4,707 hit points of 17 stuns. So he really made a difference, actually, especially to the IS-7, because he managed to kill the tanks that Rmojoho actually managed to stun and strip away most of their hit points in the process. On a standard account, he earned 45,788 credits. He would have earned 68,682 on a premium account. And he also picked up the Achievements Award because he managed to get an epic medal. In fact, actually, he picked up 2 epic medals. He got the Gore's medal and he got the Confederate. So he picked up 3,455 extra credits. And after resupply of ammunition, and these shells are fairly expensive. They're not the most expensive in the game, but they are fairly expensive because it is a tier 9 battle. He actually took away 30,203 credits. He received 735 XP, got an Achievements Award as well for getting the Epic Medal, so he picked up an extra 436 XP, meaning he took away 1,171 experience points altogether. So a particularly good round in the fact that he did actually manage to pick up both the first Mark of Excellence, the Ace Tanker, the Gore's Medal and the Confederate. And it's not the Lorraine 155-55, I'm afraid. You misnamed it. It's the Bat Chat 155-55 you did there, but that doesn't matter. I think what matters is that you did have a particularly good round and you did pick up a nice set of medals for it, even though it was a draw. So if you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.